Hello, my beautiful friends. This is Lenka Koloma with Freedom to Breathe Agency, ftbagency.com. That's Frank Tomboy Agency.com, the constitutional law enforcement of we the people. So my message today is very important. My message is to all of the law enforcement, police, and peacemakers out there. So we need to ensure that the law is enforced in our country, correct? But what is the law? You see, this is very important fact to understand. So the law, America is constitutional republic because the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, meaning that anything that's repugnant to this Constitution for the United States is null and void, as it was declared in Supreme Court ruling Madison versus Marbury versus Madison, 1802. So we need to ensure that any of the codes, statutes, ordinances, special orders, executive orders never violate this Constitution. So you, as the law enforcement officer, you have a very important job. Now, why are we talking about the Constitution? Because when you took your office, you had to take oath to the Constitution. Why? Because the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Why? Because it's a contract. It's a contract between we, the people, and you. So this Constitution, it was not written for us. It was written for you to ensure that you are fully aware what our unalienable rights are. What are unalienable rights? Unalienable rights are the rights, birthrights that come from our Creator, from the source, from God. So these rights can never be put a lien on. This is why it's called unalienable rights. So these rights are secured and guaranteed to us, Americans, and we are contracting you, we are paying you six-figure income and compensation. So we are very generous to you to protect our rights. You see, that's what our republic, this is what America is. America is governed by the law, by the Constitution. So when you assume your job, this is why you are taking an oath of office, right? Why do you take an oath of office? Because the Constitution is the supreme law. So if you wish to do your job properly, and actually that's what you need to do, you have to uphold and defend the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic, right? Domestic, remember. Right now, we have quite a situation that is really sweeping our country, and this is an urgent call to all you law enforcement officers that you need to step up and do your job, which we are hiring you for. And my big concern here is, after working with so many deputies and police officers and sheriffs across the whole nation, that there is this big confusion, right? Because what has happened in our country, and the reason I'm actually making this video is to protect you. Because what has happened, this country was taken over by attorneys that are bar attorneys, which is Bar Association, which stands for British Accredited Regency, which is not pledging their allegiance to we the people and the Constitution, but to the British Crown. And what they've done, they filled, law libraries with all these law books filled with codes, statutes, ordinances, executive orders, you name it, and majority of them are repugnant to the Constitution. So they are null and void. They cannot be enforceable. And it is your job to ensure and especially read the Bill of Rights that is clearly explaining to you what our rights are of we the people. And also look up the Article 6, Section 2, which declares that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And what you need to become very aware is that these clever attorneys and politicians and career bureaucrats, they got into their offices and they created all these codes and ordinances that are literally trespassing on our rights. And when someone in a position of law enforcement deprives an American of their rights under color of law, now we are talking serious crime, Title 18, USC 242. And if you have buddies with you, which most of the time you have, now we are talking about conspiracy of rights under color of law, Title 18, USC 241. And you don't want to be used to commit these high crimes. This is why it's so important that you read the Constitution, you become familiar. I give you an example. Let's say you are patrolling the streets out there, and I don't know what kind of trainings you get, but you have the training to basically, someone doesn't stop at a stop sign. And so you immediately put on your red lights, and now you stop that that traveler, that American who is traveling in their private automobile, which is guaranteed to them under the Constitution. And very important thing I need to mention to you is what you are creating false report of emergency, okay? Because crime can only exist when there is an injured party. And let me also, you see, and this has been already ruled in many of the case law. So let me read this one to you. For a crime to exist, there must be an injured party. There can be no sanction or penalty imposed upon one because of this exercise of constitutional rights. Scherer versus Cullen. Another one. The claim and exercise of a constitutional right cannot be converted into a crime. Miller versus United States. And I have books filled with these case laws. So when there is, for crime to exist, there has to be an injured party. So if someone doesn't stop at a stop sign, doesn't hurt anyone. Let's say it's at 2 a.m. in the morning, no one gets hurt, there is no injured party, you have absolutely no authority to stop this American, because if you do, now you are actually committing a crime and most likely felony. I'm in the state of California, which is California Penal Code 148.3. You are creating false report of emergency. This is kind of the same thing why we do not yell fire in a movie theater, right? Because people could get hurt by creating this false report of emergency. Another example would be, let's say some crazy, bureaucrat decides, okay, it's time that I create an order to have people put mask on their breathways, so they obstruct the most important number one nutrient into their body, which is the oxygen. And you go and you blindly enforce this unconstitutional criminal edict. And even worse is when you use another penal codes to arrest people for trespassing because they were not complying with some unconstitutional edicts of some company, which is now actually practicing medicine without a license, because they have absolutely no authority. They have no right to tell people what they should be doing with their body. That's their business, you see. And the government doesn't have authority to tell us, we the people, how we should live, how we should, what we should be putting on our faces, how we should be taking, care of our children or grandmas. That's our job, as long as we are not creating harm, as we are not hurting anyone or anyone's property. So it's very critical that you wake up if you are being used to commit crime against Americans. These are your brothers and sisters, and these are peaceful people who just want to live their life. They want to live their life. They want to have the right to property and to pursue of happiness. They want to be secured in their homes. They want to peaceably assemble. They want to petition the government for redress of grievances. Oh, and how about the right to bear arms? Correct? To bear arms, not because they are violent, but because of protection. This is for protection, that they have the right to self-protect themselves, especially when some three-letter agency sends their people into American homes to use intimidation and coercion, which has happened across our counties. And this is your job, actually, that you step in and you stop this. And especially if you are sheriff deputy. This is very important because we pay you. We, the pay people, we pay you to do this job. And we, the people, want to make sure that we can restore peace and harmony in our county, across the whole state, across the whole nation. Because remember, America is all about freedom and personal liberties. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you out there. You can visit our website at ftbagency.com, and thank you so much for all your support.